My name is Bobby Brooks. Join me as we take a trip into the unknown. We're going to get into the minds of paranormal experts and investigators and find out what possesses them to go into dark rooms with nothing but a voice recorder and a flashlight, with their mission to find what goes bump in the night. Welcome to Voices from Beyond. We are in historical Old St. Charles, getting ready to sit down at Picasso's coffee shop with Dr. Michael Henry. A bit later in the show, we are going to go ahead and take a short and private tour with him. Good evening, and we are sitting in front of Picasso's coffee shop down in Old Town Historic St. Charles with paranormal researcher and author Dr. Michael Henry. Thank you so much for having us down here tonight to talk about some of the locations that you have on your tours.
Well, thank you.
All right. Well, first off, I have to ask, what got you into the whole paranormal?
Well, it's kind of a long story if you can tolerate it.
I've got all the time in the world.
I grew up in North St. Louis County for the most part when I was very young. In the library there, I was reading science fiction. The library didn't have a whole lot of science fiction, but I didn't realize it. And when I got to the end of the science fiction row, I just kept going, and that was paranormal stuff. And for the longest time, I just lumped it in with the science fiction that I had been reading. But then I realized, well, gee, this is real, or at least they're claiming to be real and such. Right. So then I started talking to the people that write the books and the people that do the paranormal stuff, and it just exploded from there. And then another side of that, what got into the research and such, is a significant percentage then and now of people involved in the paranormal are frauds.
Right.
And they're very difficult to detect, and they're very good at it. So I started studying stage magic, sleight of hand, because they use the same techniques, the frauds use the same techniques as a magician. And I'm not in a position necessarily, or even the desire to expose these people, but I'm in an extremely good position to determine when what they're doing is actually sleight of hand,
right,
or deception.
Right.
And then it's just never stopped. I've been doing, I almost hate to admit it, it's close to 35 years that I've been an active researcher.
And you do the magic too, right? I read
Yeah,
that.
I'm actually, I was almost not going to bring that up, but yeah, I perform all over the world. I just got back from performances in Belfast, West End of London. I'll be doing the Renaissance Fair here in St. Charles, or actually Wentzville, starting in 2 weeks. And I'm a street performer. I specialize in street magic.
That's neat. That's neat. You learn something new with every question. So what is your connection to St. Charles?
Well, I've lived here most of my life, and I've had family in the area since the 1800s. And I actually have some letters and documents and such that no one else has access to, that coincidentally or interestingly support some of the events that take down here. I also have connections to St. Genevieve, Missouri.
Okay.
Which you probably know experienced the largest earthquake in this hemisphere in 1837 on Halloween night. And that earthquake wiped my family's farm out.
Oh, wow.
Which is why we ended up in St. Charles.
Wow. Think there's a connection between the earthquake and Halloween? And...
I don't think so, but it is really cool, isn't it?
Kind of fetching there, but that's a neat story.
Yeah. Well, then, to take it to the next step, the way my family survived, especially, I guess, my great-great-grandfather, never really thought about it. He survived by salvaging stuff from the floodwaters, and there is, in the museum in St. Genevieve right now, some of the furniture that he made from wood that he pulled from the river. And it turns out that much of that wood was coffins.
Wow. Now, that was the earthquake where the river changed.
Changed course, yeah, wiped
Right.
out St. Genevieve. Technically, I own St. Genevieve, in all seriousness, the way deeds were written and stuff.
Right.
And the land has built back up. And the parts of St. Genevieve that are less than 100 years old, technically, I still own.
Because you inherited them. You're one
Right.
of the last remaining...
But there's two problems with it. I would have to sue each person that lives there individually. And I'm not highly inclined to displace people that have lived there longer than I've been alive.
Right, right. And I understand that. Well, Dr. Michael Henry, he runs a tour through St. Charles. Can you tell us a bit about your tour?
Well, St. Charles is what I call an underexploited historic location. There have been people living along this stretch of river for at least 3,000 years. It was originally connected to the Cahokia settlements. It is beyond a doubt what we call a power place. I don't know if there's a vortex here or something else, but with all the waters coming together and things, but the point of it, it's about 2 days travel overland from the Cahokia settlement to here.
Okay.
Short distance, one direction, you get the Missouri and the Mississippi coming together. Incredible complex going the other way, going up the Missouri. And when the primary means of transportation is water, it makes perfect sense to settle in a location like this.
Right.
And Western settlers first came into the area about 1700. And the first permanent structures built about 1750. And for most of its history, the area could have walked out of any bad Western movie. I mean, shootings in the street and prostitution, all these really cool things. I'm sure there's thousands of people born here, lived here, died here, that live perfectly mundane lives, but it's not the kind of lives that create ghosts.
Right.
And it's very difficult to...
It's the tragic and
Yeah.
it's the odd and unique stuff.
It's always struck me that ghost stories are always sad stories.
Typically. Some places, not so much, but more most likely, yeah. Because you got to have that trauma there for them not to go on or for them to stay.
I agree.
What is your favorite spot on the tour?
That's a tough call. There's two that are really cool. I would have to say my favorite is what I call, it's my name, I call it the Lost Graveyard. There, up the street here on Main, on South Main, there was the primary burying ground for the city of St. Charles until 1853. It was more than 9 square blocks, 320 plus people buried there. For the most part, the records are good, but the little area down by where the chapel was, no records at all. And conservatively, we estimate between 30 and 50 people still there.
Wow.
We know for certain there are people still there because there was some excavation in the early 80s that actually opened some graves.
Oh, wow. Now, did they replace them? Or?
Well, they went round and round for months and months. What are we going to do? Who are they? Obviously, they were never identified. And after about 8 months, they put them back. They are still there.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I hesitate to tell you precisely where because the graves have been vandalized in the past.
Right. And I completely understand that. And that's where you're talking about taking us here in a little bit, right?
Yes.
Well, that's great. I want to plug the book. Where can people get this book at? On your?
It's everywhere.
It's
all
everywhere?
the major bookstores, Barnes & Noble. I almost said B. Dalton, but they're not around anymore. Amazon. All the local bookstores, plugging another local business here, Main Street Book has
Plug
this,
away.
plus a bunch of other excellent, small press books that they have right down the street here.
Perfect. And you can also go to the website www.stcharlesghosts.com. We'll flash up a screen on that with all the information for his tours as well. We're going to go ahead and break for a commercial, and when we come back, we're going to take a short walking tour with Dr. Michael Henry. Stay tuned.
These days, it's hard to watch TV and not see a commercial where some car dealers make all kinds of empty promises they just can't keep. At Roberts, we don't make empty promises. What we will promise is a great selection of vehicles, all at great prices, along with the exceptional service you deserve, before, during, and after the sale. Stop by today and see for yourself. Roberts Motors in Alton on Route 3 or online at RiverBender.com.
Red or black, silver or gold, new or used. At First Mid-America Credit Union, they know options are important to you. That's why they've made relationships with local dealerships where you'll receive all the extras with First Mid-America Credit Union's low rates and financing done on the spot. All you have to do is decide what you want. Your car, our loans, they're made for each other. www.1stmidamerica.org or call 618-258-3168 to speak to a representative.
I'll grab the birthday cake, you bring the gift, if you're sure she's ready.
She's 16, honey, and she's earned a set of keys.
She's studied and practiced, I know, but it's a big responsibility.
When you have a teen driver, it's good to know that Madison Mutual has the insurance coverage you need.
She's ready, and so are we. I talked to our Madison Mutual agent.
Call Barry Macias, your local independent insurance agent, at 467-2874.
The more life changes, the more you need Madison Mutual.
We're standing in front of the replica of the original Barmeos Church, And this is said to be one of the local hot spots where we see the Lady in White. You want to tell us a little bit about the Lady in White?
I'll tell you a little bit about the building here.
Perfect.
The building is a replica. It was finished about 2 years ago by volunteer labor. It's built in what's called a French vertical log style. You can throw a building like this up very, very quickly. A lot of the fortifications in the West and such were built this way because they could be done so quickly. Now, log structures do not do well in the Midwest. They tend to collapse after about 50 years. However, a log structure of this sort, well, the traditional log structure is the log shrink, the building falls down.
Right.
This one is the log shrinks, you simply pack it tighter, and the building actually gets stronger.
Right.
This is not the original, but they brought in archaeologists to locate the foundation. It's the same size, shape, orientation, and based on the descriptions available, it is as accurate as it possibly can be. They're actually beginning to have mass here again about once a month.
Oh, neat.
And about 2 years ago, they had a wedding here. I thought that was really
neat.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
really neat.
I'm never getting married again, but that's really very cool.
I'm done too. No
So-
more for me.
Yeah, this time I'm just going to find some girl I don't like and give her a house. It's not my line, but it's fine.
It still works. Now tell us a bit about the Lady in White.
Well, we are in the middle of the original Borromeo Cemetery. From 1750 to approximately 1853, this was the primary burying ground for the city of St. Charles. Approximately 9 square blocks. In
Wow.
excess of 300 people buried here.
So this is the middle of it.
Sort of.
Sort of,
Sort
okay.
of. Now, you can, if you look down here, if you stand down the street, look up this way, it's obviously the entrance to the cemetery with the
Right.
nice trees on each side. Now, you can just see right here, next to the Do Not Enter sign, they left a marker.
Oh, there is.
That's not a gravestone, it's a corner mark. That's the entrance to the consecrated ground. There used to be another one out here in the middle of the street with fences running each way. That's where the regular cemetery was, as I said, in excess of 300 people. Now, with erosion, construction, all that kind of stuff, there's never been any reports of human remains in that area. By all accounts, everybody up there was successfully moved to the current Borromeo Cemetery over on Randolph near Blanchette Park.
Wow.
Now, however, the area down here by the little church is the Potter's Field.
Okay.
People buried here are very poor. If they had a coffin at all, it's a wooden coffin that's long since disintegrated. It wasn't unusual for 2 and 3 people to be thrown into the same grave. I have one record of a hunting party they found out in the woods, froze to death. Held them for months and months. Who are these guys? Can anybody identify them? All that. And then finally, when the ground thawed sufficiently, they dug a hole, threw all 3 of them in here.
Oh, wow.
Conservatively, we estimate there are between 30 and 50 people still here.
Wow.
We know for certain there are people still here. There has been some construction in the early 80s, and they opened a number of graves at that time. Needless to say, it was kind of interesting. Held up the construction and all that. In any case, as you were leading up to all of this, this is my favorite story here, the Lady in White. You know, it's kind of like the ghost. The title of a ghost has been used before, but this one can be used safely. I have a letter. I've had family in the St. Charles area since the 1800s. I have a letter written by a relative of mine. His name was Hiram Berry, living on Main Street here in St. Charles, talking about conditions in St. Charles. Until the early 80s, what we call Riverfront Park was a swamp. It was disgusting. It was actually dangerous. You know, kids and dogs getting lost in there all the time. Finally, people got tired of losing their dogs, so they filled it in and made a nice park out of it. But Hiram is talking about how the swamp makes the town smell bad. And it's right there in the middle of things. And he's in trouble for some reason, according to the letter. He doesn't say why he's in trouble, but he's bought a wagon and a mule and he's leaving town. The last couple of paragraphs of his letter, of course, again, in this case, the romantic in me kicks in. He talks about a woman that lives down the road. She was 23 years old, been married about a year, not to him, but 23 years old. She had a baby. The baby was fine, but she died a few days later of complications.
Oh.
She was very poor, and the only wedding dress she ever owned was the only nice dress she ever owned was her wedding dress. And Hiram describes her lying in her coffin with her head just to one side, a slight smile on her face, and her white dress trimmed with cream lace. 4 or 5 times a year, right about this time, this is almost perfect timing, right here, people will be standing down the entrance of the cemetery and they'll see a lady standing here in a long white dress, standing quietly, perhaps praying. And they approach her and she fades away.
Wow. Have you ever seen her?
I have photographs that you would not believe. I don't know if I've seen her or not. I take the photographs and I go back and process them later. My favorite is like a mist
Right.
rising from there and very distinctly in the center of the mist, almost like an old-fashioned cameo.
Oh,
The profile
wow.
of a woman standing there.
Wow,
And
that's neat.
frequent equipment anomalies. Now, we know there are no underground services or anything because they know it's a graveyard. They're not going to be doing digging, and they're not going to be laying cables.
Right.
There is nothing here to account for the readings and the indicators we get. Right along here, this fence, we do know there was a line of graves there. This would be about their feeties.
Oh, wow.
And we on occasion get an interesting anomaly there, especially with EMF. We're walking along the fence, you get a hit and a pause, and a hit and a pause about grave space in the park.
Oh, wow.
So it is a very active area. And again, the thing I like best about it, we talked about this, is it doesn't happen every time.
Right. Right. If it happened every time.
Then it's a natural phenomenon.
Right.
Even if we can't identify it, we know it's a natural phenomenon.
Right.
Yeah.
Are there any more places you want to go, or you want to kind of wrap up?
Well, I will mention about, you look at here, the stones are kind of discoloring. The other thing, this is again, the pure romantic and speculating on this point. Hiram never makes clear why he's leaving town. This is purely my speculation. I believe the reason he was leaving town is he was the father of the child, not the husband.
Oh, so there's scandal.
Got to be a reason.
Got to be a reason.
And again, the romantic in me kicks in. If that were the case, that means I'd be related to that kid, whoever he was.
See, there you go. And there's your connection with it. Well, thank you so much for taking us on a little tour and sitting down and talk with me.
Certainly.
We've got all of his information that we'll throw up on the screen again for his tours, www.stcharlesghosts.com. We'll get the screen up for you. We're going to go ahead and take a commercial, and when we come back, I'll go over the movie of the week for you. Stay tuned.
At American Family Insurance, we put together a pretty special policy for the Gordon family. It's called the Dad's starting a new business in our garage. Jesse wants to go to an Ivy League school. Mom crashed her computer, literally. And Jennifer just passed her driving test, policy. American Family works with you to choose from over 375 products and features to create your custom family protection. Is your coverage as unique as your family?
Honey, who does our car insurance?
State Farm.
And what about our house?
State Farm, too.
And what about our life insurance?
Why do you ask?
Well, I've got something to tell you.
Bringing new life into the world is one of many great reasons to talk about life insurance. So contact your State Farm agent today. They'll help you choose the right coverage.
Contact Tom Lane to discuss all of your life insurance needs at 377-8912 across from Gino's 140 Club in Bethalto.
At First Mid-America Credit Union, they offer more than savings accounts, checking accounts, money markets, loans, and IRAs. They also offer a Visa Platinum Card, which rewards their members with low rates, no annual fees, no hidden fees, no balance transfer fees, built-in safety features to protect your card from fraud, and a reward program which rewards you for every purchase you make. Apply today for a First Mid-America Credit Union Visa Platinum Card at www.1stmidamerica.org.
Now to our movie of the week. In honor of our director and producer and editor, Missy Dar, I have chosen The Shining. And I've chosen this because Missy is over at the Stanley Hotel in Colorado right now doing some filming. So I thought it would be a great opportunity to pick one of my favorite horror movies. It's a 1980s horror movie, and it was adapted from Stephen King's novel, directed by Stanley Kubrick, and starring Jack Nicholson, Shelley Duvall, and Danny Lloyd. In the movie, the three main characters become caretakers of an isolated hotel where the young son sees disturbing visions of the hotel's past using a gift called The Shining. The father slowly goes insane from cabin fever and the past resident ghosts. Some of the trivia is Stanley Kubrick decided that having the hedge animals, which were in the book, come to life was just not possible with 1980s special effects. So they developed a very large hedge maze, which most of it was matted to make it look bigger than it was. Every time Jack Nicholson's character, Jack, that was his name in the movie as well, talks to a ghost, there's a mirror in the room. Except in the Food Locker scene, this is because he only talks to Grady through the door and we never see Grady's ghost. The snowy maze at the end that I was just talking to you about a second ago took nearly 900 tons of salt and crystallized styrofoam to give it that snowy cold effect. Some of the quotes obviously are, "Here's Johnny, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy," and "Red rum." Again, I'd like to thank Dr. Michael Henry for having us here in St. Charles to give us a bit of history and to take us on that small tour. Next week, look forward to us being at Milton School in Alton, and hopefully we'll be able to do the live show, and of course afterwards we will hunt. Till the next time, happy hunting. We're still in St. Charles at My Handy Works, owned and operated by Greg and Heather Miller. And I'm going to make a hand ghost. Whoa.
All right.
So what do I do?
We're going to get some white paint on the plate.
Okay.
You're going to dip your hand in the paint, and you're going to smush it all around. Get on all your fingers on bottom.
Wee.
All right, get a little bit more on the palm. Perfect. We're going to put a hand down just like this.
Just like that.
Get a nice, good print.
I got big hands.
That'll be just fine. You want to lift it straight up? All right. We're going to do your other hand this time. We're going to stick it in there, smush it all around.
Feel like a little kid again.
And then you can rub your hands together a little bit. All right. Then we're going to put your hand down like this. We'll cross the thumbs just a little bit. All right. I'll pull it on up.
My goofiness sets in.
You can kind of clean them up a little bit. And then we'll finish up your ghost.
Gotten a carriage ride, and I got to make a hand ghost. It's a nice little trip. So you guys do birthday parties and stuff like that?
We do. We host a lot of different groups. We also do scouts. We've done community living groups, daycares.
Oh, neat. So you travel out, or just everybody just comes in here?
We do travel out to do some of our projects, but a lot can be done right here in the store. You just make an appointment for like a party group. But something like the handprint painting, there's no appointment necessary. You could just come in right off the street.
Oh, neat. And they are located down here, right on Main Street in Old St. Charles. A number to reach them is 636-724-7337. And you can also email them. You have a website too, www.myhandyworks.com. And they're on Facebook. I like my ghosts. I get some summer camps up here too. That's neat. And are these on the website as well? Perfect.
All right, now we'll put it in a frame.
There's my ghost. All right. Well, thank you so much for having us in.
No problem.
Come in and check out the store. It's really neat. They do wax hands and candles and everything. Bye.